dug up her body 400 years later. Her bones were destroyed. Crushed toes, twisted arms, a back that looked like it had been broken over and over for decades. She was not a slave. She was not a prisoner. She was a mother. And all that damage came from one thing: making breakfast every single morning for her entire life. She heard it again last night, and she already knows you're going to think she is crazy. But she does not care anymore. Because whatever is sitting at the edge of those trees in the dark has been coming back every single night for 3 months now. Same time, same spot, same sound. And it is not an animal. She knows every animal in this forest. She grew up here. She has heard wolves and bears and cats and birds and every living thing that moves through these woods at night. This is not any of them. This sound is low, way too low, like breathing, but from something so big it should not exist. And here is the part that keeps her up at night more than anything else. The second she steps outside and looks toward the trees, it stops. Not because it heard her footsteps, not because it smelled her. It stops because it knows she is looking at it. It can tell which direction her eyes are facing. And that one detail changes everything about what this thing might be. But nobody in this camp is ever going to hear about it from her. Because the last person who talked about something they could not explain got treated like their brain was broken. She watched it happen. She watched a grown adult get torn apart by whispers for weeks. And she decided right there that she would rather carry the fear alone every single night than let that happen to her. So she swallowed it, added it to the pile, moved on. She woke up the same way she wakes up every morning, in the dark, before the sun. No alarm, no choice. Because the fire was dying, and if those coals went out, the 17 people sleeping behind her would wake up in cold that could actually hurt them. She had maybe 10 minutes before the last bit of heat disappeared. So she got up and she worked. She grabbed the dry wood she lined up near the door every night before sleeping. She fed it to the coals one piece at a time, because too much wood too fast kills a fire just as dead as too little. She learned that the hard way when she was young. Her hands do not make that mistake anymore. Her hands could build a fire in total darkness without her brain even being involved. But while her hands worked, her ears were locked on that tree line. Still quiet now, but it would be back tonight. After the fire came water. And this is where her day got scary in a whole new way. 3 weeks ago, she walked to the river the same way she always does. Same path, same time, same flat rock where she fills her containers every single morning. And sitting right there on that rock was something that made her whole body go cold. A bundle of sticks, tied together in a pattern she had never seen before. Not from her people, not from any tribe she knew, just sitting there, waiting for her, on her rock, at her spot, which means somebody had been watching her. Not once, not by accident. Somebody had watched her long enough to learn her exact routine, her exact path, her exact rock, her exact time. And then they left something there to make sure she knew they had been watching. She took it back to camp, buried it in the ground where nobody would ever find it. And she did not say a single word to anyone, but she never took the same path to the water again. Every morning after that, she went a different way, different time, different direction, because if something was tracking her movements, she was going to make it work for every single piece of information it got. She filled her containers and walked back with her eyes checking every shadow and every tree. Now, here is the part most people have never heard about, and it is going to change the way you picture these women forever. She got back to camp and started grinding grain. She dropped to her knees on cold, hard ground, picked up a stone so heavy it took both hands, and she pushed it forward across dried corn and seeds using her entire body weight. Then pulled it back, then pushed it forward, again and again and again, for hours, every single morning, every single day, for years and years and years. Her shoulders burned so bad she could not lift her arms some nights. Her lower back had a pain in it that started years ago and never left. Not once, not for a single day. Her knees pressed into that ground for so long and so often that the bones inside them actually changed shape. And here is the part that is going to sit with you. Scientists found women like her hundreds of years later, dug up their skeletons, and those bones still showed the damage. Crushed toe bones, twisted arm bones, destroyed lower backs, all of it from grinding. All of it from the simple act of feeding their families breakfast every morning for their entire adult lives. Her body kept the receipts long after everything else was gone, and she was not even halfway done with her morning. Because while her hands were grinding, her brain was working on something else entirely. There was a man in the camp who made her feel wrong. She could not prove it yet. He had not done anything she could stand up and point at in front of everyone. But food had disappeared from the storage twice this season. Not big amounts, smart amounts. The kind of amounts someone takes when they know exactly how much they can steal without anyone noticing. And both times it happened, he was the last person anywhere near the storage. Both times he had his excuse ready before anyone even thought to ask him for one. That is not how innocent people act. But it got worse. She caught him watching her make medicine. Not the way normal people watch. Not curious. Not casual. He was studying her, watching which plants she picked, what order she mixed them in, how much she used. Like he was trying to memorize the recipe without her knowing. So she started lying to him without opening her mouth. When she knew he was watching, she changed the steps, added fake ones, removed real ones, made the whole thing look completely different from how it actually worked. So whatever he thought he was learning a version that would never work. She did not confront him. She did not warn anyone. She just filed it away in the back of her mind with everything else. Quiet, patient, waiting until she had enough to act. Then a child got sick, and none of that mattered for the next 8 hours. A little girl, about 6 years old, burning up with fever, breathing way too fast, skin dry in a way that told her this fever had been climbing all night long without anyone catching it. The mother came to her with eyes full of the kind of fear that parents carry when they think they might be about to lose their child, holding her voice together with everything she had because she did not want her daughter to hear it shake. She went to her medicine bundles, picked the bark her grandmother had put in her hands 30 years ago with instructions she could still hear in her grandmother's exact voice. She boiled it, measured it by smell and by color because that is the only way she was ever taught. Gave the child exactly the right amount, not a drop more, because she knew what too much looked like. She saw it happen once, and she made a promise to herself that she would never see it again. The fever broke by late afternoon. The mother cried in that small, quiet way people cry when they just came within inches of losing everything and then did not. She pretended not to see it, because that moment was not hers. That moment belonged to a mother and her daughter, and nobody else. That night she checked the storage. Before going to sleep the night before, she had placed 3 small stones in a very exact pattern at the entrance. A little trap. Nothing dangerous. Just a way to know if someone had been there. 2 of the stones had been moved, not knocked over, not bumped by accident. Moved carefully. Placed in a slightly different spot on purpose, with full knowledge that she would notice. And that is the part that made her stomach drop. Because someone who is still trying to hide is manageable. Someone who knows you are watching them and does not care? that is a completely different kind of dangerous. She reset the stones, added something new behind the entrance, something you could not see from outside, but something you absolutely could not step over without knowing exactly where it was. Then she tried to sleep. The sound came back, low, slow. That same wrong breathing from the same spot in the trees at the same time it always came. She lay there counting the gaps between each sound, perfectly regular, like a heartbeat, like something that was choosing to make this sound on purpose rather than just existing in the dark. She got up in the middle of the night, checked the storage, nothing touched, walked to the entrance, stared straight into the dark toward the tree line. The sound stopped the instant she looked. She stood there for a long time, not moving, because that detail would not leave her alone no matter how many times she tried to bury it. Animals do not stop making noise because they see your eyes. They stop because they hear you, because they smell you. This thing stopped because it knew where her eyes were pointed. It was aware of her awareness, and she could not tell a single person. She went back inside, sat against the wall where she could see the whole shelter and both ways out. She did not close her eyes again until the sky started turning gray. Morning came. She got up, built the fire, walked to the water through a new path with her ears wide open, filled the containers, came back, dropped to her knees, started grinding. A new child was coughing. Winter was 7 weeks away, and the food math was not adding up. The man was still watching. The stones might get moved again tonight. The sound would come back after dark. And somewhere out there, the person who left that stick bundle might have left another one she had not found yet. She held all of it at once. All of it. Every single morning. While grinding grain on frozen ground with a body that had been hurting for years. Most people fall apart trying to hold one hard thing. She was holding 6, and still making the medicine, still feeding everyone, still managing everything, still keeping her face calm enough that nobody around her could see what it was actually costing her. Because the second they saw it in her face, they would feel it too. And she was the one person in this camp who was not allowed to be scared. She had to stand between everyone else and the fear, every single day. No breaks, no rest. No moments where she got to set it all down and just breathe. She was the reason 17 people felt safe enough to fall asleep at night, and not one of them ever knew what that cost her. Subscribe because the next video shows what happened when the outside world finally arrived and the weight she was already carrying got 10 times heavier overnight. After this one, that video is going to hit completely different.